Okay, so this is my second example about the topic finding the area per region in the plane. It says find the area of the region bounded by the graph of f of x equals 4 minus x squared x-axis and the vertical lines x equals 1 and x equals 2. Okay, so alamin muna natin yung graph of the function. Actually, this is a parabola opens downward with vertex at 0, 4. Kasi if y is 0, if x is 0, y is equals to 4. Okay? So therefore, ang kanyang vertex is located at on the positive y-axis, 0, 4. Okay? So therefore, the equivalent graph of the function is this one. So hindi ko nakukunin yung other half of the parabola kasi yung atin namang pinapakuha na boundaries is interval ng x natin is 1 and 2. So kapag ganito siya, yung other half kapag ganito. Okay? So hindi ko na kailangan lang natin itong kabila. So let's say this is x equals 1 and this is x equals 2. Okay? And by the way, if x equals to 2, so sa makatwid na andito yon. If x equals to 2, y equal to 0. So ito nga, sakto na andito. Okay? So this is equals to 1. So pag ganito siya. Tsaka ito. So ito yung area na kailangan natin. Okay? Ito sa f of x. Ito yung vertical lines natin. X equals 1, x equals 2, and ito yung ating x-axis. Okay. Yung ating y, yung 0. So, gawa tayo dito ng rectangle. And then, alamin natin kung anong mas magandang gamitin, kung right endpoint or left endpoint. So, ito yung x sub I minus 1. Ito yung x sub I natin. Inscribe rectangles tayo dito. Pero, gagamitin natin right endpoint. Okay? Mas madali yun. Kasi sa left endpoint na I minus 1. So, to determine the area, we have area equals limit of the summation I equals 1 to n f of c sub I times delta x and approaches infinity. Now, solving for c sub I and delta x. Delta x and c sub I. Paano yun? So, delta x is equals to b minus a over n. So, ito yung b, ito yung a. So, 2 minus 1 over n, this is 1 over n. And for c sub I, so yung right part ng kuko natin, o right endpoint, so c sub I is a plus I delta x. Okay? So, a natin is 1. Okay? Tandaan na, ito yung a, ito yung ating b. So, we have 1 plus I, delta x is 1 over n. So, we have 1 plus I over n. Yan ang ating c sub I. Substitute natin sa ating formula para makuha natin yung area. We have area equals to limit n approaches infinity, summation of I equals n. C sub I is 1 plus I over n. F of 1 plus I over n. So we have delta x is 1 over n. Then solve natin si f of 1 plus I over n. Gamit to. Limit summation of I equals 1 to n 4 minus, this is your x, 1 plus I over n squared times 1 over n. Then, expand natin. So, this one is summation of I equals 1 to n 4 minus quantity 1 plus product of these two. That is 2i over n plus I squared over n squared times 1 over n. Kung tandaan nyo yung square of the sum of two terms, square of the first term plus twice the product of these two. So 1 times I over n is I over n times 2 is 2I over n. Square of the second term is I squared over n squared. Now, 4 minus 1 is 3. So may matitira na lang doon. Limit summation of I equals 1 to n 3 minus distribute 2I over n minus I squared over n squared times your 1 over n. N approaches infinity. Next, expand natin. That is limit 1 over n. N approaches infinity. Summation of 3. I equals to 1 to n minus 2 over n squared. Summation of I equals 1 to n minus 1 over n cubed. Okay. Summation of I squared, I equals 1 to n. Okay. Purahin ko muna to. So, alam na natin to. Ito, mamumultiply lang. So, we have area equals 2 limit n approaches infinity. That is equals to 3n over n. And then this one is minus 2n squared. 2 over n squared. This is n plus 1 over 2. Okay, burahin ko to. And that is equal to minus 1 over n cubed. That is n times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 over 6. Okay. Okay, pwede ko na itong erasin. Next is simplify natin. We have limit n approaches infinity. This is equal to 3. Cancel. May matitirang n. So we have minus n divided by n is 1. And 1 divided by n is 1 over n. So minus 1 over n. Minus. Cancel yung isa. So may matitira dito 1 over n squared times this is 2n squared plus 3n plus 1 over 6. Okay. And then limit 3 minus 1 is 2. N approaches infinity. We have minus 1 over n minus 1 over n squared. Sorry. So this is cancel. So magiging 1/3 na lang. May over 6. Minus 1/3. Minus 3n divided by n squared is 3 over n times 6 sa ilalim. 1/2. So minus 1/2 n. 1 over 2n. Minus multiply. Minus 1. May 6 sa ilalim. And then squared. 1 over 6n squared. Okay. Now, apply natin yung concept ng ating limits. Again, limit at infinity, limit 1 over x to the n, x approaches infinity is equal to 0. Okay? So, ito yung 0, 0, 0. So, matitira na lang is the area equal to 2 minus 1/3. 2 minus 1/3 is equal to 5/3. Square units. So, yung area ng ating region na hinahanap. Okay? So, that is our answer dun sa ating example number 2. Thank you.